Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway. We're gearing up for the SC Project Twins Cup second race of the weekend. And yesterday we were able to see Matt Chapin take that race victory from Alessandro Di Mario and Dominic Doyle. Only 0.2 of a second separated our podium finishers, and we can expect more of the same during today's 9-lap race. Rudge, we were able to see a real battle at the front, but Matt Chapin able to take that victory yesterday.
Yeah, and great job for Matt being such a young rider. Daytona's so hard to win, but he really played that draft perfectly. So I'm sure now all the guys kind of know where they're strong and where they're weak, so their plans might change going into the second race today.
Yeah, we had Sean Ongarvsky in that battle as well, and 4 riders scrap all the way through that race yesterday, and it really was a great way to kick off the season for the Twins Cup. And for Chapin, he'll be out to try and do the double here at Daytona. And here's the highlights from yesterday's race.
Yeah, and it was a really good race. Dominic Doyle actually starting there on the front row in second. Alessandro Di Mario. See Sean Ongarvsky there. Great race for him there early on with the leaders. You can see just kind of the 95 there on the Suzuki, able to make some moves down into the chicane. These 4 riders seem like they just went back and forth, going every time around the bank, and then was out braking contest down into turn 1. Matt was having a couple little mistakes in this race down in turn 1, getting the bike slowed down. You see here as the race winding down, Dominic Doyle now he's going to try to lead through the infield. Again, see Alessandro Di Mario there in second. Just seemed like every time on the banking, if you were leading, the guys were going to come past you as they head down toward the chicane. And now the race is starting to wind down, as Sean Ongarvsky looks like he's out of it at this point, but now he's got himself right in the battle. Alessandro Di Mario moves into second going into turn 1. He knew exactly where he wanted to be on the last lap. He has a nice lead here through the chicane. He's pulled out a little bit of a gap, but Matthew Chapin on the Suzuki able to use the draft to perfection. Alessandro Di Mario second, and Dominic Doyle rounding out the podium.
Great effort from Dominic Doyle, and you can see there less than 0.2 of a second separated our podium finishers, and we had Sean Ongarvsky just behind that battle as well. Avery Dre were able to come away with a top 5 finish. We saw Isaac Woodward have some crashes, Levy Batty have some crashes, but both able to come through when it mattered in the race with a top 10 finish. Jamie Howe, you're down on the grid, and Jamie, conditions starting to change a little bit. We've got some dark clouds overhead now as well.
Well, just as we have been out here and getting the grid all set after that sighting lap, Steve, the sun is starting to break out. Temperature certainly starting to go up as we get ready for the second SC Project Twins Cup race of this 2025 championship season. We just saw those highlights. Matthew Chapin being able to start from the front row, take it all the way to the top step of the podium. We were just talking a moment ago. You said there's no plans to change anything today, so how do you repeat?
I'm gonna approach this race the same as I did yesterday. We made a few changes to the bike, so I think it should help us in the infield a little bit, and I think that's really all we needed in yesterday's race, so I'm just gonna go out here and do my thing.
You certainly had the speed when it came to the banking, and it's ultimately how you were able to take home that victory, but you even said it. You struggled a little bit going into turn 1. How did you clean that up?
We made that change to the bike, so I think that we should be able to enter the corner a little bit better. And, yesterday we were just struggling with the bike wanting to push wide a little bit, so these changes should help, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, he is confident in the bike that his team has given him today. Let's see if he can find himself back to the top step of the podium. And just one note for the focus of a 17-year-old. His dad, Phil, just came over, tried to give him his cell phone. He said, nope. I don't need it right now. I'm getting ready to race this afternoon. For a 17-year-old, I mean, that's pretty impressive, not wanting the cell phone. Dominic Doyle, starting on the second row here again today, was able to finish on the podium yesterday with that 3rd place finish, but you were a little bit disappointed in that result. You wanted just a little bit more. How do you get it here in race 2?
Sorry, can you?
How do you get just a little bit more here in race 2?
Well, we made a gearing change, so hopefully that helps for the draft at the end. Just looking for a similar race as yesterday and position myself for the last lap and hopefully get them at the line.
We saw you just come off of the bike in the Mission Super Hooligans category. That was a great battle there at the end of that race. Job well done for you. But now to be able to get yourself back into race shape and get ready for another battle, how fatigued are you at this point?
I'm feeling pretty good. I had a pretty good off-season training and I'm still feeling pretty fresh, so I'm ready to go again.
Feeling pretty fresh and ready to go. We're going to keep moving along. Good luck today, Dominic Doyle. Going over to our pole sitter, Alessandro Di Mario, with that #1 plate on the bike, able to finish second yesterday. And he already got his helmet on. You're getting your gloves. You're ready to go. How do you clean up yesterday?
I have a different plan. Yesterday's plan didn't really work out, so I just got to adapt as the race goes along and see. I mean, it's really, you don't really have a strategy until you're out there, and then you look at the situation. So we'll see how it goes.
We saw you have a great start yesterday. Getting that again today and then having to do the battle, what is the change in plan for you?
I mean, I'm just gonna try to get a good start and just battle for the the first couple spots, and then just see what I can do in the last laps.
All right, good luck out there. That is our pole sitter, our defending champion, Alessandro Di Mario. I'm going to go ahead and move back to the second row. We have just a couple more moments left. Shannon Barsky, great showing this weekend for the number 48 Coke Racing. You said it, you've never been more prepared coming into a season, but this is a brand new organization, a brand new team, a new program for you. After race one, what are you looking for in race two?
I think race one, I kind of had some jitters. It was first time running up front in the Twins Cup, so today I'm a little more calm, and I'm ready to go to work.
You certainly had the energy yesterday. You are more calm. You can see it. You can feel it. How does that settle you down as a rider?
I think I got a little overzealous and blew that chicane and threw away my win yesterday, so let's be calm and get on the box today.
All right, good luck out there. We're going to move over really quickly to Avery Dreyer. Starting fifth on the grid. He finished fifth yesterday in race number one. And Avery, I know you wanted to get up onto that podium. How do you do it here in race two?
I mean, I feel a little better. We made a couple of changes from yesterday. The bike wasn't handling the greatest, to be honest. So the team and I did a couple of changes. So I'm hoping to get a better first lap and run up there with the rest of the boys.
All right, good luck. And very quickly, we're going to wrap up our front two rows. Andrew Way was not able to finish the race yesterday. What changes now?
We put gas in the bike, so we should make it the full race. And yeah, same strategy as yesterday, except get a good start and be aggressive at the beginning. And if I do that, I should be up in the front in a good spot. So let's see what happens. All
right, different strategy. Aggressive from the start. This is going to be another fantastic race. You're not going to want to go anywhere. This SC Project Twins Cup, race number 2 for this 2025 season, coming right up. Steve.
Great stuff down there, Jamie. Able to hear from our top 6 on the grid. And Rog, there's plenty of other stories to keep an eye on as well. But certainly inside that top 6, we were able to see Ungarski make a big step forward. We'll expect the other riders in that second row to do the same. But what about the third row as well, Rog? We've got plenty of riders coming through from that. Logan Cunnison, Jacob Stevenson, Levy Batty all in the mix through the course this weekend, and Isaac Woodworth as well in the fourth row.
Yeah, and for those riders, it's been a huge first race for them, just like Matthew Chapin there, getting to feel the drafting of Daytona, and it's a lot different. And for Logan, he's I'm really excited to watch his progression. He Junior Cup last year, won some races, was fighting for the title early on. End of that year, and he moves up to Twins Cup. So it's a lot to take on your first time at Daytona, and I think he had a really great race yesterday there in 7th place, and just start the season with something to build on from there.
Yeah, it was interesting just to hear down on the grid a few of the riders just talking about the challenge of here, and I think Sean Ungarski said it best, where he just needs to clean up those small mistakes, and then you can stay right there in that last lap. We saw yesterday Ungarski run through the chicane in the close couple of laps, but down there as well, Isaac Woodworth. We saw a crash for Woodworth during the qualifying session, but he's been pretty good all the way through this week, Roger.
Yeah, another guy that's moved up and had a great, great weekend so far. And it's just getting laps, getting that. This place is so difficult because of the draft. It sucks you into these corners 6-7 mile an hour quicker some laps, and you don't expect it. You've never experienced that before. And now I think all these young kids have able to have one race under their belt, and they're going to know, when I draft the person in front of me, I need to move my brake markers up a little bit. So just clean up those mistakes, and as you're a young rider, that's what you expect. Mistakes, and clean them up as you go.
Yeah, exactly. And for Woodworth, he was able to clean it up in a manner to come away with a top 6 finish in the opening race of this season. And then we're just gearing up for race 2 here for the SC Project Twins Cup at the Daytona International Speedway.
SC Project Twins Cup is brought to you by SC Project, builders of world champion exhaust systems, and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
The second Twins Cup race about to get underway here at Daytona. 9-lap race for these Twins Cup riders. We'll have Demario on pole on the number 1 bike. Dominic Doyle on the number 25 will start second. And Matthew Chapin, our race winner yesterday, will start from the outside of that front row of the grid. But Rog, take us around the Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, down into turn 1, you'll see some riders try to break away in the infield to 2, 3, 4, 5. See if they cannot break the draft. Coming out of turn 6, if you don't have a big gap, these riders are going to draft right by you into that chicane. Sean Varsky talked about his mistake. That's where he had it yesterday. The race was won and lost right here out of turn 10, around that banking 11 and 12, where that draft becomes so important through that tri-oval.
Yeah, easy to trip over each other through the chicane as well. You can see here the weather conditions just starting to change ever so slightly. We've got cloud cover coming in. That's going to have an impact on the track temperature as well, to just bring that down ever so slightly. And for the riders, that'll be something for them to consider. On the grid though, Alessandro Demario, our reigning champion, has taken that pole position. He was able to come away yesterday with 2nd and 20 points. Dominic Doyle was able to have a podium yesterday from that front row, and then Matthew Chapin was able to win that race. But a few riders worth keeping an eye on that 3rd and 4th row, Rog.
Yeah, we talked about Logan Cunningham. Also, Jacob Stevenson's having a great weekend as well.
And down into the 5th row, Chris Parrish, our inaugural champion in the Twins Cup. And then further down, these riders are all in the battle for that 15th place and that final points paying position. That was Casti Haser yesterday on the 167, able to take that 15th position. As the riders get ready now for coming to the starting grid, they've been able to get their sighting lap under their belts, and now they're just getting ready for the all-important start here at the Twins Cup Race 2. You can see here as well, conditions similar to what we had in terms of air temperature, but track temperature will have come down, Rog, just with that cloud cover we've got in now.
Yeah, and also the bikes are going to run a little bit cooler as well, so they're going to be a little bit quicker. And I think also the grip is going to be up from yesterday's race with the track temperature come down. The wind, the big thing there, only 5 mile an hour, but you look around, it's kind of cloudy. It is Florida. That wind can change throughout the race.
Yeah, we can see here for the riders just gridding up, and Matthew Chapin was our race winner yesterday. We had a 4-rider group at the front. It was Sean Ongarski that was the unlucky rider that missed out on that podium on that number 48 machine. Keep an eye out for Ongarski leading off that 2nd row of the grid. Avery Dreyer finished yesterday's race in 5th position. He'll be looking to get himself into that lead battle here at race 2 for the SC Project Twins Cup season. We're just getting ready now for the red lights to come on, and our front row starters to take the start here of race 2 at Daytona. And the lights have gone out, and off the line it looks like it's a good start again for Dominic Doyle. He made a great start in race 1. He's done the same again here in race 2, just in front of Demario. And it looked like Sean Ongarski able to make a good start there as well, Rog, up into 3rd.
Yeah, he got a good start there from that 2nd row. Matthew Chapin also there, right there in 4th. And you're going to see these guys have their heads down early on in this race, see if they can break up this pack. Looks like Avery Dreyer also with a really good start. We're in 5th place.
Yeah, and Avery needs to make that quick start. Yesterday finished the race about 15 seconds down, so he was a 2.5 seconds off the pace in yesterday's race. But a lot of that comes down to the fact he had a lonely race yesterday. He wasn't able to go with the lead riders. Looks like he's in a much better position now as we see Demario take that race lead from Dominic Doyle. And for Demario, we saw yesterday, very comfortable leading the race, Rog.
Yeah, really aggressive there into that kink. You don't see a lot of passes through there, and I think you're going to see Alessandro's got to go today. He does not want the draft to come into play, so he's going to see if he can't leave these guys behind, but Dominic Doyle is going to latch on. Sean Varsky also in the draft, going to be able to close the gap up.
We saw Demario was a little bit vulnerable yesterday for that top speed on the run from the chicane to the finish line. And the rider that was the strongest in that was Matt Chapin on the orange Suzuki, the Manson Hines bike. He's down in 4th position right now. And we'll see if on the exit of the chicane he's able to have that drive like he had yesterday, as Dominic Doyle able to make that move into the chicane. Doyle's got a really good front end, a lot of confidence on the brakes. That's where his Yamaha is strong. But keep an eye on that orange bike. 4th position right now for Matthew Chapin. This is where he was really strong yesterday, Rog.
Yeah, he's strong today. He was a little bit behind these guys coming out of turn 6, and we got on the banking. He was able to close that gap right away. And Matt's such a strong rider. He's doing the same thing today. He's using what's his advantage, the bike. He's got really good speed, and Matt's also a little guy. When you look at the screen there, you see how much he can really get under the bubble, and that makes a big difference here at Daytona.
Yeah, it's good to be able to see variety at the front of the field as well. We've got 3 different manufacturers up there inside the top 4 positions, and it's the Suzuki that leads the way for number 95, Matthew Chapin, and then the Yamaha of Dominic Doyle, the blue bike in P2, and then in 3rd spot it's Alessandro Demario on that Aprilia, and then Sean Ongarski in 4th. Avery Dreyer is doing a good job though to be able to stick with them, This is the second group out there, and you can see the number 27 of Isaac Woodworth just keeping that pressure on Andrew Way and Levy Batty up there as well. But this is a big group, Rog, and this is where you could finish anywhere from 6th to 15th.
Yeah, it's a huge group, and with the draft as well, some of the riders we were talking about in this pack. But right now you can see how close they are. Maverick Sear also there, set 9th. So we got a battle at the front, and we got a battle here in the mid-pack, and there is a lot of guys. As you said, you could end up 6th in this group or fall all the way down and barely get a point.
Yeah, and the one thing for all these riders is it's about trying to stay at the front of those groups. You can see for Avery Dreyer there on the number 47 machine at the back of this group, the blue Suzuki. Yesterday he got dropped by the group, wasn't able to go with them, but he was too fast to be in front of everyone else, so it ended up being quite a lonely 9-lap race for Avery. But he's in the mix here in this one, and you can see that second group doing a decent job here to be able to keep themselves in contention.
And Avery was just about a half a second quicker than the leader through that first sector of the track, and you can see what it's done. He is right there on this pack with the draft. Sean Varski a little bit wide into the chicane, but no big mistake. He's still right there where he needs to be. Just don't lose the draft. He didn't make a little mistake.
Yeah, we saw yesterday Garski made a small mistake on the penultimate lap into the chicane and ended up running off the track, cost himself a bit of momentum, had to drop down to the back of the lead group, wasn't really able to recover from that. Said on the grid to Jamie Howe that he needs to just clean up those mistakes for this one. But yesterday on the grid he was talking about how well prepared he was for this season compared to last year, and it really has shone through all the way through this weekend here at Daytona. But as we come across the line at the end of the second lap, we've got DeMario able to use that slipstream to be able to take that race lead. And yesterday what we saw on the run down in towards turn 1 and turn 2, Rog, was that the Vance and Hines bike number 95 Chapin, able to have that slipstream, able to have that draft across the line, wasn't quite able to get the bike stopped as comfortably as the likes of DeMario and specifically the number 25 Dominic Doyle.
Yeah, and he ran a little bit wide there again out of turn 1. You can see what it's doing. It's kind of lost, and then he makes a mistake out of that first horseshoe. You see Dominic Doyle has his head down, trying to go with Alessandro.
Big shake of the head as well from Matt Chapin. He knows that he can't afford to give up that ground to those race leaders. You can see here for Sean Ongarski, a little bit boxed up behind him, and he had to go around the outside, and then that opens the door then for Avery Dreyer, and Avery didn't need to ask twice.
No, and you can see what this has done. It's really broke this pack up, and it's going to be interesting to see if Matt can bring these 3 guys back to the leaders on this banking where his bike is so strong. But the front 2 guys have really pulled a gap.
Yeah, and you can see here for 3rd position there, Rog, just how big of a moment that was for Matt Chapin.
Just trying to get a good drive out of that first horseshoe. You're really on the edge of the tire. You see Matt right here just able to really open up on the 2 guys there behind him.
Let's see what the gap is though to the 2 race leaders. Dominic Doyle just about to take the race lead into the chicane. Very strong in the brakes again from Doyle. He's also got that track experience. He's just in from the Hooligans race.
These 2 guys need to not battle. They need to try to work together and see if they can't separate themselves from the guys behind them. You'd much rather have a 2-horse race than have 5 guys, because if you get beat out, you only lose 1 spot.
Yeah.
So these 2 have definitely created a gap.
We saw that in the Hooligans race, a 6-rider battle on that last lap, and you could just as easily finish at the back of it. And you can see there for DeMario just able to take that lead, but look at the 95. He's able to close right up again there, and it's a big advantage down that straight for that Vance and Hines Suzuki.
Let's see if Matt can get the bike slowed down a little bit better today. He's doing a great job on corner entry, getting the bike stopped in that draft. He's going in there way quicker. With such a draft. He's doing a good job for a young rider, knowing his mistakes he made yesterday and cleaning those up.
And you can see in that 3rd position, the gap back to Sean Ongarski and Avery Dreyer, it's round about 1.3 seconds, but it's closing up all the time. They're also able to use that draft from the riders in front, and for Sean Ongarski there on the number 48 machine, the black bike, he's doing a good job just to be able to stick with them. The gap says 1.3 seconds. It looks like it's a little bit closer than that now in this lap.
Yeah, they're starting to bunch back up through this infield. The best lap in yesterday's race was a 56.1 by Matthew Chapin, and right now they're kind of doing high 56s. They're about a half a second a lap off what they did yesterday.
Yeah, and you can see there the 95 at Chapin just keeping himself in the mix during the course of the infield section before coming out onto the banking, and his team manager down there as well, Rog.
Yeah, he's got to be happy with what he sees. Such a young rider, and also not only a young rider but smart. Matt is in a really good spot there on the Vance and Hines crew. Really good people around him, and it's really going to benefit Matt, not only on the track but also what he can learn off the track.
Yeah, because one of the big things for riders stepping up from Junior Cup and making their transitions through the classes, having that intelligence is the big thing, having the racecraft and seeing where you've got your strength on any given weekend and taking advantage of it. And Chapin's doing that all the way through the races here at Daytona International Speedway. We've been able to see him again on this lap, able just to come through on Alessandro Di Mario's Aprilia and coming right onto that rear wheel then at Dominic Doyle and able to cut his way through both of those riders. And doesn't even look like he really needs that draft, Rog.
No, that bike is running well today. Whoever built that engine did a great job, and Matt's also doing a really good job getting a run out of the chicane and getting tucked in really well. Sean Varski had a really good lap by him, fastest lap of the race with a 55.8. See what that did, it bunched him right back up.
You can see for Chapin there as well, Rog, just comes past those two race leaders, maybe a little bit early, and then they're able to take advantage of the draft on the run down in towards turn one.
And for Matt, if you know you have the advantage on the banking, you don't have to take the risk on the brakes in the infield and risk a mistake. Just kind of maybe a little bit easier, and then know where your strength and your weakness is, and sometimes it's the banking.
Yeah, and you can see here in that lead group of four, Avery Dreher's just been dropped off the back of them now. Last time around, Dreher was about a second and a half off the pace of the race leaders. That's why he's just that little bit lonely now in fifth position, but he's got to keep his head down. He's got to make sure that he's able to take advantage if there is a little bit of a scrap in front of him. But Dreher making a big step forward compared to yesterday, Rod.
Yeah, it looks like he's lost toe to this group in front of him, but much better than yesterday. He was in that fight early on. He's still, you know, a couple seconds back. He really wants to see this group get tight and then them start battling and maybe slow each other up and let him catch back up to that toe. Right now he's a little too far back to feel that draft.
And you can see here for Dominic Doyle once again able to give himself that opportunity to come through, but look at the gap that the 95 was able to make up. He was 5-6 bike lengths off them on the entry in towards the chicane and then able to claw right back to them. So for Chapin on the 95, he's got that clear advantage and he's been able to take good use of it, but he's dragging Sean Ongarski with him as well.
Yeah, they're going to be all bunched up when they get across the start-finish line this time. See Alessandro Di Mario, as they drop down the banking, able to make the move. Matthew Chapin also, and I think Jamie has a little bit more on Dominic Doyle.
You see Dominic just a little closer to the fight today. That team made a very slight gearing change just to give him a little bit more top speed and be able to fight. But you also see on that bike, as this battle continues, that Westby Racing logo. Trigg Westby back here in the MotoAmerica paddock, putting some money and support behind that Giacomoto Yamaha racing team. So it's great to have Westby back as well, but what a showing for that team today.
And yesterday at the end of that race, across the trial, when you could hear a bike in the rev limiter. And I guess it was Dominic Doyle's, and that's why you make that change. Whenever, it's really hard when you're in a four-rider battle and you're going to go 7 or 8 mile an hour faster over the start-finish line. When you're by yourself, your gearing's good, but you start picking up some speed. So you could hear it yesterday. When it hits that limiter, you're not going to accelerate anymore.
On the other side of that coin as well, Rog, we had a massive headwind in towards turn one on the opening day of action here on Thursday. Then that wind died down, so a lot of what you were able to learn on the opening day was irrelevant. So we ended up where we had a qualifying session and then a race yesterday. So for that crew, they've done a good job to be able to adapt that bike. As we can see here in that lead group, it is still a lead group of 4. Dominic Doyle out in front on that number 25 machine, and then Alessandro Di Mario, and then the orange 95 of Matthew Chapin just giving chase, and Sean Ongarski doing a very good job to keep himself in that lead battle as well. Ongarski has a best finish of top 5 in the Twins Cup coming into this weekend, and then he was able to go better than that yesterday with that 4th place finish, but he wants that podium, Rog.
And he's got himself right there in the battle like he did yesterday, and not only is he in this battle, he looks like he belongs. He doesn't look like he's pushing the limit too hard. He's fallen back off this group a little bit, and he was able to run them back down, and Sean was really confident. We interviewed him yesterday, and man, you can see it on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, and you can see that he's able to use that draft now as well from Dominic Doyle. Double draft with the 95 out in front as well. And Ongarski trying to go that long way around, not quite able to have that speed. But you can see for him as we come across the line, he's able just to find a little bit more. And Jamie, you've got some news on Ongarski.
For Koch Racing and Sean Umgarski, this was supposed to be a 2-bike effort, which is what it will be for the remainder of the season. Romeo Giovini, unfortunately, having mechanical issues. They were not able to get a bike out there for him to race with this weekend. But when you think about this, bringing a brand new team and then be able to be up there in this lead battle without a teammate, pretty impressive. It's a sign of good things to come this season.
Yeah, it really is impressive. And Umgarski putting himself right into that mix, up to P2 now on the number 48 machine. And as we come into 2.5 laps to go here in the Twins Cup race, you can also play MotoAmerica for cash in Superbikes, Baggers and Super Sport classes. They're all live now on the top sportsbook, the DFS platforms. So scan that flow code to be able to visit nxtbets.com/playma. And Rod, you spotted something there.
Yeah, Matt made a mistake there in the turn 5. The second horseshoe ran really wide. He lost a little bit of a time, but he did a great job there, just doing what he needs to do. Just make a mistake, but not make another mistake to try to make up for it. And he's able to now stay where he has been and get in that draft. And Avery Dreyer's doing a great job. These guys are working together with the draft and just kind of barely pulling away.
Yeah, and you could see that for Chapin earlier on in the race. We needed that big head shake moment that he was able to keep a cool head. He's done that again on this one as well. And you can see for the number 95, not quite the fastest rider through the speed traps. That's Ed Sullivan right now. Everyone else in that lead group, though, pretty close to one another, Raj. Only 1 mile an hour between the front 4.
Yeah, and also, you know, with Ed, you've seen that big battle that he was in, that, you know, 6-7 rider draft. You catch that, you're really going to pick up a lot of speed.
You can see here now as we come through to cross the stripe, 2 laps to go for this lead group. Avery Dreyer doing a much better job in this race, still there in 5th position, 2 seconds back of Matt Chapin. So in a position if something happens in front of him, but much better performance now from the 47 compared to yesterday. As the number 1 of Alessandro Di Mario takes that lead of the race again. 2 laps to go now for this lead group of 4. Dominic Doyle trying to run around the outside. Is he going to get that bike stopped, or is he going to leave half a door open for Umgarski? Does a good job there, Raj, to be able to still hit his lines.
Yeah, a little bit wider entry there for him. Got in a little bit deep, but really kind of made up the time back on the exit.
And lap and a half to go for the riders, and it's all about building yourself up. You can see there for DeMario, he doesn't want to be the leader.
No, and I think Alessandro there maybe made a mistake there into turn 3, probably trying to break away and really put in a really good first sector and ran a little bit wide.
What about the chances for DeMario where he's trying to use this as a little bit of a rehearsal to see where you need to be on the exit of that chicane?
I think he's did that, but also I feel like he thinks his best shot is probably to lead and break away. But these 2 guys, these 4 riders, it's going to come down to that last lap and where they position themselves with only a couple laps to go.
Yeah, and you can see Umgarski's bike moving around underneath him there across the bumps and the seams. But for DeMario in this lead group before, we haven't seen it where anyone's got that pace to break away, so everyone needs to adapt their strategies accordingly. And for DeMario in that number 1 plate, despite being the pole sitter and leading the way in practice and qualifying sessions, he's been having to do the chasing in the racing. And for him, 2nd place in yesterday's race in that number 1 plate. It was the 95 that we had to keep an eye on at the end of yesterday's race. And we'll see if that's the case once again. But Umgarski out in front and looking comfortable, Raj.
Man, what a great weekend he's had. I hope he can carry this out throughout the year. I mean, just so impressive to, you know, now be in the lead group and leading races for the first time. It can be really hard.
And look here at the back of this group, position 4, Matt Chapin on that number 95 orange Vance and Heinz Suzuki, just keeping himself in that tow from the number 1 of Alessandro Di Mario. But it's at this point now, Rod, where everything closes right up.
It looks like Matt is just right where he wants to be. You know, he's rolling off of it before they get to the start-finish line. As we head into the last lap, I bet when they head to the checker, you're going to see Matt go ahead and carry his momentum around the outside. He looks like he's exactly where he wants to be there in 4th.
Dominic Doyle taking that wide entry once again into 1 and 2, and he's trying to focus on making sure he's able to exit strong and put some pressure on Umgarski. But Umgarski leading across the line last time around, and defensive riding there from DeMario in 3rd. He's thinking more about Matt Chapin and not giving up that spot rather than attacking on the number 25 of Dominic Doyle. But all 4 riders in this lead group doing a really good job, and you can still see it in the background there, Avery Dreyer in a position to be able to take advantage of any mishaps in front of him. But decent effort today from Dreyer. But this front 4 with Umgarski leading the way. Penultimate lap yesterday, we saw Umgarski make a small mistake into the chicane, Raj. He can't afford that now.
No, he can't make that mistake today, but I think as we watch this race, I think the guy you see 4th on the orange Suzuki has got himself right where he wants to be.
I think when you look at what we've seen from Chapin all the way through this week's running, he's obviously got that good advantage on the exit of the chicane, able to use the draft very well. Let's see what the 25 of Dominic Doyle decides to do, though, because he's been able to make some moves on the way into the chicane, but now that we're into the last lap, he'll want to sit behind that 48, give himself the best chance to be able to use that draft, as we see the 95 of Matt Chapin just ghosting around the outside there of Alessandro Di Mario, not looking to make that move just yet, because Rog, it all comes down to the exit of this section of the track. Now, this is the most important corner of the track at Daytona, and for Matt Chapin on the 95, he's into the most important mile of the race.
Yeah, really good spot, Matt. You see, already making a move on Alessandro Di Mario. Now he's going to try to get in Dominic Doyle's draft. Sean Unvarsky has pulled a little bit of a gap.
Let's see if Ungarski's able to hold it off. You can see Chapin's coming fast now and just able to use that draft from Dominic Doyle. The front group has now brought themselves right back together. Doyle able to use that toe as well to be able to get to the front. Look at Di Mario down the inside as well, but it looks like Chapin, is he going to hold off for a double win here at Daytona to open the season in the Twins Cup? And it looks like it was Chapin able to hold off by less than 200ths of a second from Alessandro Di Mario. Dominic Doyle up there in the podium, and Sean Ungarski just missing out on that first podium finish. Avery Dreyer was able to come through in 5th position. This is the battle for 6th, and we'll see if Andrew Way is able to hold off Isaac Woodworth as they come across the line. It's a photo finish across the line, and it looked like Woodworth might just have taken that, and that all-important 6th position. So 2 6th place finishes there for Woodworth, but down in the Vance and Hines pit box, this is what it's all about for them, Rog. And again, we were able to see Chapin just time that one well.
Yeah, and just uses, just his race strategy. And it looked like the last couple laps he was kind of rolling off there. He knew where he wanted to be. And it's just so impressive for such a young kid to know where your strength is and just be able to have that. It's hard to have that patience to want to stay in 4th and use that draft. You always want to lead the race.
Let's have a look at the end of this race as well. Matt Chapin on that orange Vance and Hines Suzuki taking that run around the outside, and we ended up 4 abreast pretty much in the last couple of 100 meters. But for Alessandro Di Mario, he was able to come through, and Dominic Doyle looked for a split second. He might have had that bit of momentum on the Matt Chapin bike, but not quite able to do it. And for Di Mario, he lost out on yesterday's race by a 1/10 of a second. He's lost out in this race by a couple of 100ths of a second, and it's been a good weekend for Di Mario. Starts it off with 2 second place finishes and 40 points, but he's looking up to Matthew Chapin in the championship standings here at the end of the opening round of the season in the SC Project Twins Cup Championship. And Matthew Chapin, Alessandro Di Mario and Dominic Doyle able to come away with 2 podium finishes here in the season opener at Daytona.
SC Project Twins Cup is brought to you by SC Project, builders of world champion exhaust systems, and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Here's our race winner, Matthew Chapin, and over the course of 18 laps of action here, Rog, we were able to see this lead group all fight with one another all the way through. But you spoke about it a few times for Chapin, just the racecraft from him, and you can see there with his fastest lap so early in the race, just trying to control things thereafter in that 4-rider group.
And you see where it kind of slows down there, lap 5, 6, 7, and 8, because all the riders are trying to position themselves where they want to be. So, but for Matt, to do the double right here at Daytona, and we talked about it so much, just he always puts himself in the right spot, and he was able to, he knew what his strength was today, and he was able to use it. Yeah,
I really like what you can see from Chapin this weekend, obviously stepping up from the Junior Cup. We know Di Mario is going to be a contender all the way through the season, but Dominic Doyle has had a really good opening weekend to the season here, whether it was in the Hooligans class or in the Twins Cup as well, and able to come away with 2 podiums here at Daytona in the Twins Cup class. Matthew Chapin, though, doing the double and leaving here with a perfect 50 points in the Twins Cup Championship after taking that race victory from Alessandro Di Mario. Sean Ungarski leading races, but not quite able to come away with a podium finish. Avery Dreyer with a big step forward compared to yesterday, and Isaac Woodworth able to come away with 2 top 6 finishes at the season opener. And Ed Sullivan and Logan Cunnison were our top 10 finishers. In 15th spot, Joe Bittner was our final points-paying rider, and a strong season opener here in the SC Project Twins Cup Championship. You can see Matthew Chapin now making his way back down into victory lane, and we'll be able to hear from him in a couple of moments' time. But Rog, once the race weekend is over, you're really able to celebrate your successes, and he's got a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, he does, and also he can watch these races back and see where he can improve. He's already cleaned up some of the mistakes that he was making yesterday down into turn 1, but now the stress is off. It's just a different place to come here and win at Daytona. There's so much that goes into it, and interesting to see what Matt can do throughout the year. But right now, what a great start to his Twins Cup career. Showdown Varsky, I know he's going to be a little disappointed so close to the podium, but if he keeps racing like he did this weekend and he can carry this one throughout the rounds, the podiums are going to come, and then he's going to end up winning a race. I think so far throughout the weekend, Showdown Varsky's been kind of the rider of the weekend so far.
I think the rider that's made the biggest step forward compared to last season, Ungarski, and podium finisher in the Junior Cup, so we know he's got the talent to be running at the front, but different story whenever you step up to Twins Cup like he did last year. But into this second year, he looks like he's been able to make that big step forward, and it'll certainly be interesting when we get to the next round of the Twins Cup to see if he's able to do that as well. Just down into victory lane, and we can see Matthew Chapin, and we'll have the chance now to catch up with our race winner from Jenny Howe.
And for Matthew Chapin, he was able to come in and celebrate. I saw you shake the hand of Terry Vance. You've also have Mr. Fuji from Suzuki here, the showing that you've been able to put on this weekend. How do you continue the momentum?
Oh man, I think that race, my whole plan was just to be patient until the last lap, let those guys fight it out at the front. I didn't want to take any unnecessary risks, and just kind of waited till the end, and I knew I had the bike underneath me to do it, so just used the draft at the end and got it done.
There was a moment there early on in the race, though, where you were trying to get kicked off of the bike. Take us through that.
Oh yeah, coming out of the corners a little bit, likes to get a little squirrely, but it's nothing too bad, and obviously it wasn't too bad, so we were able to pull off the wind, and I just got to give a huge thanks to my Revzilla, Motul, Vance & Hines Suzuki team, everyone for believing in me, KYT, CD, Revit, all my family and friends for coming out, and I dedicate this race to my cousin Jeffrey.
Getting this opportunity this season. Rocco Landers was on the bike last year. On the way over, he was like, man, I'm so happy. This kid is really putting all of the pieces together. It's a long season, though. Daytona is different than anywhere else. What do you need to focus on going forward?
I think we really just need to focus on getting this bike perfect for me. I got a great team behind me, so I think we'll be able to do it.
Congratulations. 2 wins here this weekend for Matthew Chapin as he makes this move up into the SC Project Twins Cup. Moving on over to second place. And for Alessandro DiMario, you started on pole. You said you were coming into this race with a different strategy. What you did yesterday didn't work. You ended up second here again. What were you looking for?
Well, yesterday I was trying to break away. I thought I had the pace, but it didn't work. The gap after the bus stop wasn't big enough. So today's plan was just staying like second or third, and just seeing what I could do and see. I was like testing during the race to see like if I was third, where would I end up? If I was second, where would I end up? And then Sean was in the pack too, so I didn't count for 4 riders. So, but I tried from fourth too, and we were struggling to get to the line first. The bike was a little down on power on the start finish, but I just had to time it perfectly, and out of the bus stop I just tried to distance myself that little bit so I could get the perfect draft. And then when Matthew went up the inside, I got behind him, and then I had a 3 bike draft, and then they kind of split up, so I just had to pick a side, and I picked the inside because it's closer. And so it ended up like it did. So I didn't know who won, honestly. I just looked at the timing, but I didn't know if it was right because it just, like where you put the transponders. I really didn't know who won, but it was really close. Congrats to Matthew and Dom. They rode amazing all weekend. I really had nothing on them, so.
Competition is fierce this year as we get ready now for the second round of competition that will take place at Barber Motorsports Park in just a few weeks' time. What do you do between now and then to get yourself ready for this challenge?
Just a whole lot of riding and just keep myself in shape. And I just can't wait to get to Barber. That's my favorite track, and also I can't wait to get on a real track, with more turns and less straightaways. But it was really fun. Daytona is always fun. It's a really unique track, so it's an amazing experience every year. So I'm glad we race here, and I just gotta be ready.
Double podium for our champ, Alessandro DiMario, as we now move over to third place. That is Dominic Doyle. You see the Westby logo on the side of this bike. Trig Westby back giving support to MotoAmerica. But this whole Giacomoto Yamaha racing team, they certainly gave you a bike to work with. You had a little bit more today, but ultimately at the end, it just wasn't enough. What would you have liked to done different?
I kind of knew I was hosed when these guys kind of hung back those last 2 laps. I tried to just stay behind Sean and see if I could get a draft at the end. It's nothing, just maybe fallen back like 2 laps early and gotten like the 4-bike draft. But other than that, I really can't thank my whole Giacomoto racing team. They gave me a good bike all weekend. My personal sponsors, Yamaha Champions Riding School, Alpha Omega, Lake Greens. I'm fundraising for Racing for Rescue, so if anyone wants to donate to the Humane Society, please stop by my pit. But yeah, it was a great weekend all in all, and I'm looking forward to Barber to get a stronger result.
When you think about the traditional road courses that are coming up on the schedule, you have so much experience at all of these various racetracks that we go to. What is it you're looking forward to in terms of Twins Cup competition?
I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season. I think it's going to be a battle. These guys are riding great. Matthew, congrats to him for these 2 amazing races. So I think it's going to be a good season. I'm just looking forward to a little less horsepower tracks, and we'll see how it shapes out.
It's going to be great. Congratulations on another podium finish. Those are our top 3 here in race number 2 of the season. Steve?
Thanks, Jamie, and congratulations to our podium finishers. Just in the next couple of moments as well, we'll be opening up the Dunlop Paddock autograph session down on pit road as well, so get yourself the chance to go down and meet the riders and get some autographs. But here at the opening races of the year for the Twins Cup, we were able to see Matt Chapin able to do the double, and over the course of race 2 we saw a battle that went right down to the wire. And Raj, just take us through the action that we saw here in race 2.
Yeah, another amazing race here, just like race 1. You see Dominic Doyle there, very good start there in the middle of the front row. Kind of looked like a carbon copy of yesterday's race with the same 4 guys out front, but you'll notice Avery Dreyer also was able to get in this draft early on, and it was a drafting battle. You heard all the riders talking about Alessandro Mario talking about he's just trying to figure out where his bike is good at, where does he need to be on the last lap. Showdown Varsky, you see he lost the lead group and put in some really good laps. Tough to do, pushing your own wind, able to chase these guys back down. The last couple laps, Dominic Doyle was leading through the infield. See Showdown Varsky, as the race was winding down, got himself toward the front of the pack. See Alessandro DeMario there trying to make a move, but Matthew Chapin just played his cards right, played to his strength, and was able to get the win and do the double to start the season.
Great start for Matthew Chapin, a perfect start to the Twins Cup season for him, and that's why he's got the 50 out of 50 here from the opening round of the year at Daytona. Alessandro DeMario 2 second-place finishes, and Dominic Doyle able to come away with 2 third-place finishes. Sean Ongarvsky, though, the unlucky rider of the weekend, just missing out on his podium here at Daytona, but able to come away with a really strong performance all the way through the season. And then Avery Dreyer and Isaac Woodworth with strong weekends, both finishing in 5th and 6th in all races. Down in victory lane, we can see now Matthew Chapin.
Is your winner. Would you please welcome Matthew Chapin?
You can see the smile there on Chapin's face, Rod. You can see what it means for him.
Yeah, just being a young guy, it's just great to see him able. Look how happy he is. That's where you're going to see the big smile.
Top step of the podium for Matt Chapin, and on the racetrack he doesn't look like a 17-year-old, but he does on the podium there, and he's got experience that belies those years. Such a strong start to the campaign for Chapin. We've got round about 2.5 hours until, an hour and a half until the Daytona Supersport Daytona 200 race, and the actual finish at 4 p.m. with the Mission King of the Baggers race 2, and we'll be able to see how the season finishes here, Raj, at the opening races of the year.
Yeah, and I'm just excited for the Daytona 200, you know, the biggest race of the year, and we've had a lot of build-up and practice and qualifying. We've seen tensions getting a little high between some of the front runners and their teams, so I'm just really looking forward to seeing this Daytona 200 play out. Just such a different race with the pit stops, and so much goes into it. And then also the King of the Baggers, one of the best races. One rider had some mistakes yesterday. Kyle's not feeling really well today, so it's a lot of unknowns going into that second race.
Yeah, certainly 2 races left for the day, and the big one coming up at 1 p.m. here at Daytona International Speedway. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'll be down on pit road for the autograph session, and we'll be able to grab plenty of riders during the course of that as we build up towards the Daytona.